down for it. I know. Well, it's a good day. It's an exciting day. You ready? Tell me when you're ready.
I'm ready.
You good?
Roll.
You ready? No. Appreciate y'all coming. As you know, I'm probably should open this up to question and answer, and we get out of this a lot easier, I think. But you know, I thought we had a great day today. I was very pleased with the things that happened today. Thought we met a lot of needs where we were trying to go, and then at the end got some of the best players available. Because you know, you have a need that you got to go after, and then at the end you got to have the best players available and how you put your class together. But I think we have a good group of size with speed, with good defensive players, a lot of range, a lot of size, and a lot of multiplicity of positions that can be played by a lot of guys. And I think that came from the size issues and the speed issues and where we got to go. A lot of athleticism. And I'm very curious that I think there's a lot of guys in this group that will have great careers here at Florida State. And like I said, we're excited about it. You get everybody you want? No, you never do. You never do. There's always some to get away and slip out, but that's recruiting. That's why you keep going back at it. But we have plenty. And with the two good classes we've had behind and the older group we've got here now, I think this group will fit very well with the group that is here already and what we're trying to do, and I think will give us a lot of depth. And I think some of these guys will have a chance to make an impact. Now, which ones? I know you'll ask me that. I don't ever know. I don't like to predict that. But there's some guys that they come in and things go well and stay healthy, and you know they're adapting to college life quickly. I think have the physical ability to help us. So like we hit a little bit of everything in what we got. So we're very pleased. Very pleased.
Of all the needs you guys think you had, where do you think you did the best?
I think the first thing we did is defensive needs in general. First of all, getting size on defense, a lot of and speed with space players, with range, that have length, that can do things. You know, I thought up front in the defense, we got 4 inside defensive linemen. All have size. Have one guy in there can swing. 300-pound guys. One guy's probably 280 that can swing back and forth. An outside guy that's 280 that can be athletic. And we did that. Linebacker, I was extremely pleased. I think we got physical, inside presence. I think we got length and speed and ability to rush the passer, cover, run, do things in space outside with the other 4 guys we got. And in the secondary, I was very pleased. We got great corners. I think we got the #1 JUCO corner in the country, #1 high school corner in the country. Guys can run, make plays. Another great corner in that group, and a safety that plays very well. And I think you got a lot of additions to some of your skill guys that don't. They're not just can be corners, they can be safeties. Or receivers could go to safety, or safety could go to receiver. How it all plays out. Now, they'll all play where they want to play in the beginning and what we promise them to play. But as you see, what I like to get guys that have the ability to adapt and play different positions so you're not dead. If you say a guy's this position and he doesn't play it, well, what else is he? I think we got a lot of that in this class. So you can see guys that stay where they're at, and that's what it is. But if not, they have the ability to change and play other positions, which only helps them and helps us. You know.
Jimbo, you stuck pretty close to home with a couple of exceptions. You went up to Connecticut, got a couple of kids, you got one on New Jersey. Going that far, there must be something there that intrigued you about him.
I think both kids are very unique. I think Will is a guy who has range, tremendous athleticism. I mean, you watch him, he's a tight end, but you watch him on the defensive side of the ball. Plays an outside back or a defensive end, can run and do things. Tremendous ball skills. Flexes out like a tight end, runs under 4.6, vertical 36 or 38 inches. He's their best basketball player. He's 20-some a game against all these big guys up there in that league. This guy, I mean, I don't think you can go out and sign a more athletic skill guy at that position. Is 6'3", 235 pounds. And then Bjorn, as you saw his interview, innocent, raw, tremendously talented, and tremendously good heart. He has size at 6'4", 275 pounds, and a guy that can play outside. He's not an inside guy. He can play inside, but he's an outside guy. Played soccer his whole life, runs 4.7 or better. Tremendous change of direction, great hips, tremendous power. And I think, like I say, anytime you go away that far, you should get an impact guy. I think both these guys will be impact guys.
So I don't know how you get into rankings or anything like that, but you took Marcus Joyner, Christian Jones, and I mean, those are really highly rated prospects in the state of Florida. How important was that?
I think it's good. I mean, you have to establish yourself in Florida. You're not going to get every player in Florida, but you have to establish your boundaries and make sure you get your share of the big-time players, and we all know they're here. And that's what I say. We don't have to go far. When you look at the rankings of the top players in the country, you look in the state of Florida, and then you go into Georgia a little, I mean, that's almost half of them. That's almost half of them, or close to half of them. We don't have to go very far. But I think establishing our foothold here and making sure we get the right players was huge. And those two guys were big, big additions to our class.
The recruitment of Christian Jones, obviously he was a legacy, but like you said it today, it wasn't a sure thing that he was coming here.
No, and just because you're a legacy doesn't mean you're going to recruit you. We'd love to recruit everybody that had connections here and everything, but we got to go out and get the best football players, right? And we have to understand that. And the thing about Christian, we're recruiting Christian. We didn't recruit his dad or his brother. We're recruiting because he's a great football player, and he can help us win. Now, he was a legacy. That helps you get in the door. But I think in the end, a little bit, you had to convince him why you're recruiting him, because sometimes guys want to make their own path. You know what I mean? And reminding him, you don't have to go over to make your own path. You are making your own path here. I mean, you can still do your own thing and be who you are. It helped us get in the door, but in the end, we had to recruit through that too. Right. But he is a great player and a great human being.
Jimbo, are there a couple guys that you're maybe not sure what position they're going to play in the team, like a Scooter Hagens who's coming as an athlete? Or some guys like that you're not really sure till you get him in?
Well, no, we've told him Scooter's going to be a receiver. He wants to play receiver, and that's what he's going to play, and there's no doubt in my mind he can. But he has the ability to do other things, which I think is great. You know what I mean? Because, as I've said on some of the past great teams I've been at different universities, ones we won national, guys that come in and play 2 years at a spot and then say, something, I can have a career here, or something here is a log jam here, whatever it may be, but they will all play where they want to play. And that's what we promise them to play, and there's no doubt about that. But the ability to do that, and what that also tells you, when a guy can play multi-positions, he's generally a great special teams guy. And he has speed, size, and range to do on that, so you're always looking for guys that cover in special teams too. I think he can help us in a lot of different ways.
You got a lot of guys like him and a Christian Green that played quarterback in high school. I mean, is that just because they're great athletes you see and you can put them in another position? You do. And a lot of that, like I say, a lot of the great teams, they're football players. See, I think the greatest description you can have, we all get so slight. He's a receiver. He's an inside tackle. He's an offensive tackle. He's a guard. No. I mean, I think that's a negative when you say that guy is that. I think it's better when it says dash football player. A football player tells me he can do a lot of things. He can run, he can have size, he can be physical, he can play offense, he can play defense, he can play special teams. I think all those guys can do that. And you never know where you're going to end up.
You've talked about the versatility and the flexibility that this group has. Do you have the playmakers that haven't been in as of abundance in the last 5, 6 years?
I think we got them on the team now. I think they're here right now. I think this class, I think people underestimate the young players on our football team. I've said that before. There's a lot of guys that we're looking over just because they haven't made huge contributions yet. We got to get them in the right position, do the right things, and develop them. I think developing these players is the key. We always talk about recruiting. We don't talk enough about development of players. The programs around them, the systems around them, the things you got to do, mental, physical, psychological, and all those aspects. And there's a lot of guys on our football team I think are big-time playmakers. I really do. And I think these guys can also be in that group. There's some in this group too. So I think we'll have plenty of playmakers. I really do.
I think we all saw your quote in that ESPN story about needing grown men to come in here. Just talk about the philosophy about coming in.
Well, I think size matters. Size does. If you can get size without sacrificing speed. Now, are there fewer of those guys? Daggone right. You have to recruit them harder. You have to go find them harder. And just because they're not on some ESPN list, and some of these 5-star guys are 5-star, but not everybody has to be a high-ranked guy. There's a lot of big guys in this class right here. For instance, Damon Jacobs, when he came here, wasn't a highly ranked guy. He came to our class, and there was a bunch of 4- and 5-star guys we're recruiting. He comes to our class, and we watch him run, bend, change direction, and do things. He's 300 pounds. I don't know what, there's other good players out there, but I'm going to tell you what, he's one of them. Cameron Irvin, 17 years old, 6'5", 295 pounds, can play low to high, can bend, can do those things. McLeod, who's got 3 years left plus a spring, he's 305 pounds that can run. As he gets back in shape, because he set out a year, I think it's going to be a tremendous player. And Darius Cummings, who's 277 pounds now. We keep talking to him about 240. He's 277. He's big, he's physical, he can play on the edge, he can go inside. And, Bjorn. See, Bjorn's the same way. He's 280 being on the outside. Having size and speed matters. You can't sacrifice one to get the other. And that's what we had to do in the offensive side. And I think getting the bigger, the big linebackers, which we got. Jeff Luck's man, Telvin Smith is phenomenal. Christian Jones has size and athleticism. There's, some of these guys, a couple guys we can't talk about yet. Holmes, I think, is going to be a great player. Has size, strength. I like the group we have, and the skill guys, the receivers and the safeties are all long, lean, and can do things.
Could you talk about the linebacker class? I mean, it looks like that you really, really like this class.
I really do. I think Jeff Luck, I mean, is a great inside backer, physical, can run, change directions. Telvin Smith, I've said this, I mean, that's why I fought so hard. I mean, Telvin Smith, I think is special. I mean, I think Jeff Luck is special. I think Telvin Smith is special. He's 6'3", 6'3 and a half.